Hola GNGs, I am Trekk with 2Ks, and this is the Weekend Crypto, and y'all have no idea how tired I am right now. Yeah, it is Sunday night late, and I'm down in Miami with the rest of the folks from the Gentlemen of Crypto, and been running the different events, multiple events a day, and yeah, I still got to do my part, and I'm the one who got Weekend Crypto. So went through a couple of different sites to look at some things, and we're gonna jump in. I don't know, it was kind of weird how some of the stories kind of fell out from like Friday evening up until right now. Most of the things prior to this were all like, around the conference events and stuff. So Solana stuff, Bitcoin, Miami stuff, some things out of Monero, Topia here and there, but yet just kind of dig for certain things, right? But nonetheless, this is one of the things I jumped into. For those of you who are bag holders or believers in Luna, there's a situation where a gentleman named Jack Newell created a a Twitter account called DeFi Made Here, and he basically looks to get into like the whole, let's talk about what are the holes in certain DeFi related projects. And they happen to pick in on Luna. So now, I don't know exactly who I'm gonna say Do Kwon is, but apparently they took it personally. Do Kwon took it personally, and so if you want to follow in on this, the links for this will be available at some point. Not 100% how figured out yet how I'm gonna end up pushing stuff through on that, because I was trying to do it through the comments, and the LinkedIn the YouTube algorithms wasn't having it. And so whatever, but nonetheless, you can still see what the thing is up here. And this is Crypto Slate, by the way. And so basically, Jack goes through this whole thing of breaking down like, hey, here's why this makes no sense kind of for how Luna is doing the pegging of UST to the Luna token. And there's this whole burning aspect. And there's a question on, how are you doing this burning thing? Are you really doing it? But more importantly, you created X amount of tokens out of thin air. Now, what I thought was most interesting was the dude Kwon responds back. Oh, and I also thought this meme was hilarious as I imagine that if you're designing a product, right, or you're pushing whatever your token thing is, and then someone starts making fun of what you're doing or poking holes in what you're doing, you kind of get a little touchy, right? So I understand that to a degree. But nonetheless, like this one had me cracking up. But what got me was, where is it at? He created his own, where is it at? Okay, here it is. So the dude Jack makes a point saying, hey, they minted 1 billion STD out of thin air. And the way that Kwon responds is like, well, we did it because we weren't sure if we were going to have a greater demand compared to what was the market cap. In my mind, that doesn't sound like 1 + 1 equals 2, because it means then that your pegging situation should be off. But again, I'm no TA guy, I'm really no FA guy either. But for those of you who are holding the bag on this, you might really want to start digging around at what's going on with that particular token thing. Let's jump into this next story. Like the stories that have been going on for the last like 73 hours, 72 hours, they're not like groundbreaking things per se. Again, that one in Barcelona was just a, hey, for those of you who are holding the bag, you might want to start looking at that a little more, deeper in the weeds to see, is it a still hold or whatever. But ain't financial advice. I'm just some guy in the internet, right? Jumping into our all favorite lady, Pocahontas, aka Senator Elizabeth Warren. So, okay, the news cycle had to be really slow this weekend for this to be a thing. Because when I found it, it was like probably the fourth or fifth thing on Crypto Slate's page. And I was just like, all right, why are we even going into this, right? Now, she's in an interview on NBC. They asked her a question about crypto, and it's like, well, do you think it's a bubble? Like, here's what in my way of interpreting this, they're starting to say things that are probing the public to start to like worry about the economy and whatever segments you're in. If you're in the crypto thing, to start wondering like bubble, is it going to be a crash? Da, da, da. I think personally that's how I'm kind of interpreting this. But what gets me within this article is they talk about the question, and then they go through like the whole backlog history list of like, oh, here's the times that crypto was compared to tulips. Here's the time that crypto was this amount. Here's the time it went up all-time high, then it went down low. And they go through all this back history stuff to then come all the way down here at the bottom, well, not at the bottom, but like near the end of the article, to then, you know, after all the writing up and down on the price talk and stuff, to then bring in, hey, let's talk about CBDCs and how the German government is classifying Bitcoin as a unit of account, financial instrument stuff, but their chancellor person or their finance ministry person is seeing Bitcoin as a unit account, which is different than saying it is e-money. Now, I wonder in that particular line, what this means going down the road for how Germany is going to take a more active position for their legislation coming out around cryptocurrencies. Again, we're talking about Elizabeth Warren in the States, but somehow we included Germany in it. So I wonder if that's like a signal towards something coming out probably within the next couple of months, but I would argue definitely before the end of the year. And then, you know, jumping around in regards to like what Japan was doing with how they approved the payment methods of stuff. And then not we all, but X amount of us who have been in the space long enough, or at least are paying attention to the situation with Russia and what Russia's been doing. I've been covering it since like January, that they were already making preparations in their legal infrastructure in relation to cryptocurrencies and in relation to stable coins. And they were doing it from before this year started. So not a new thing. But nonetheless, my point being is that like this article really wasn't about Elizabeth Warren per se, but more so about hashing or like throwing in little things about what's going on in different jurisdictions. And then throwing out certain names and, you know, the Paul Tudor and all that. You can definitely follow up on this when you're ready to. Again, this is on Crypto Slate, and you'll find the link. I'll figure out how to do that part. Nonetheless, jumping into this next story, which is Coinbase. Coinbase gets service going in India. And then this, you have the partnering entity that they partnered with, which was the National Payment Corporation of India, that was able to help them do the fiat onboarding part, right? And so there is an agency above that that goes, well, we don't really know if there's any crypto agency, you know, actually utilizing the fiat on-ramping the way that would be most convenient for people who don't have crypto already and want to just use their bank cards and stuff like that, or their fiat on-ramping. So now here you have it that because the governing agency said something, Coinbase then turned around and just turned off the whole system. I was like, well, no, we're not doing it right now. And I would argue that this goes into let me just stack this order out for y'all in regards to how it worked out. So the National Payment Corporation is a part of the Reserve Bank of India, which is under the Ministry of Finance. And it's the Ministry of Finance who then comes out later on and makes the comment. And so even though Coinbase made the business deal with the NPCI, the Ministry of Finance, because they're the regulatory body, which is the same thing that we have kind of going on here in the States with how one of these exchanges or another crypto related business will start doing something, and then like all of a sudden you hear something coming out of Washington, and then next thing you know the partnership is like at a standstill. This is kind of the same thing that's going on there. Now, considering the population size of India, yes, this is a good thing, but at the same time, trying to play within that regulatory space, these are the type of things that happen when you're, trying to balance out pleasing the governing bodies in whatever jurisdiction or country you're in versus trying to like do the thing that's going to get you the money, even though you have the technical ability to do it. You still got to deal with the regulatory side if you're a C5. Just saying. All right, I'm jumping into this next one, and then we're nearly there. It has been a long day, y'all. Y'all really don't understand. It has been so long. So this right here is about Binance. Now, I've been bringing this up for the last couple. Like, Binance has been making moves on a global scale, and if you look at what they've been doing, they've primarily been focusing on entertainment level partnerships or movements. So like they did the Grammy thing recently. They also did the thing with the football league. I forgot which country it was for. I think it was Argentina or something like that. And then they did stuff in Nigeria with their version of like the American Idol thing. They're making moves because right now for the bigger exchanges, like the top 5 or so, it's about getting out there into the areas of where the pop culture and the most eyes can happen, or at least for this particular thing, this is about where the money is. If you know anything about how it works over in the sandbox, there's a lot of money out there. They spend money on a whole different level, okay? And so this deal in particular right here is a very good thing in regards to what Binance is looking to do in getting into a bigger liquidity pool, pretty much. And so the bottom line is them getting this going is meaning that they're going to be able to deal with another level of money. And I'm sorry, y'all. I'm tired. I'm realizing I'm kind of rambling on this. Bottom line is this is a big move for them. It's a positive. You get into the thing of mass adoption. Yes, that's a good thing too. And I'm gonna leave it there on that one. You can definitely read more on the article for this one. This is a Cointelegraph one. You can find it in Cointelegraph. It was like, I think like one of in the top 5 or top 6 stories that came out for today being Sunday. Well, Sunday night, Monday morning. Last thing, definitely gotta close this out. I'm going down, y'all. Nonetheless, content creators introducing new paradigm. This is another Cointelegraph story. Now, I was reading through this, and this is basically more of like the narrative spin of, hey, this is going to be the way that you can be your own, boss as far as cutting out the middleman as a content creator or as an artistic person who's like doing music or like visual art or whatever, and how it can work over into you making NFTs. Now, personally, I look at NFTs as technology being applied to artistic content. Now, as far as how this particular article is covering it, again, it's not no new major development thing. I really think that this was like a real slow 72 hours. Like, heaven knows what Monday's going to bring as far as the news cycle goes till Friday. But what gets me with this is what's not being talked about is that there is an issue for how you deal with jurisdiction and being able to argue in a court of law that just because you had a NFT based product whether music or the visual art side of it, and you're trying to enforce like IP, or you're trying to deal with like royalties or distribution stuff. If you're solely in the crypto ecosystem, all right, makes sense in regards to certain things as far as cutting out the middleman and being able to program the money and have the smart contracts deliver you to your royalties, even though there are technical caveats in that particular setup too. But when you start crossing the crypto and the fiat, and you're talking about dealing in traditional business structures, yeah, it's not as clear cut as this article tries to make it sound. And I keep telling people, like, watch out for the marketing. They hit you with the buzzwords, the narrative sounds good, they give you the convenience, but there are caveats, there are details that can definitely ruin the whole thing for you. I really stress to the folks trying to push in on this, like, really do the digging in on the research to understand how this whole smart contracts and NFT and the royalty stuff works. And it's not as clear cut and dry as people would like you to think. All right, so I'm closing it out on that. And yeah, that's it. Like, I'm done for the night, y'all. Listen, I just want to say thanks for checking in with us. Do understand I am Trekk with 2Ks. This is the Weekend Crypto. Check out the live stream of the Gentleman of Crypto that comes out Monday through Friday. We got some more shows coming out, so definitely check out the website and all that. Also, if I said some stuff that made sense, definitely hit the thumbs up, share with folks so they can know too. If I said some stuff that was like me talking out my ass, hey, you could definitely hit the thumbs down. I'm okay with that. And then you can also leave a comment and say, yo, you was talking out your ass. I'm okay with that. Why? Because I'm just working to improve and get better at doing this whole thing. Nonetheless, I'm cutting it out right now because I'm Trekk with 2Ks and I am dead tired right now, y'all. So, as it is, one.